Welcome to the first part of the FNAF theory Iceberg, where I go over an iceberg for each letter of the alphabet. Anyways, I have nothing else to say, so enjoy the video. Andrew Toyshink, or the Andrew you should not have killed, is the theory that Andrew from the Fazbear Fright series is the one you should not have killed, the vengeful spirit tormenting the protagonist, aka William Afton, and Ultimate Custom Night. In Toy Chica the high school years, Toy Chica's first victim is Foxy, who's killed off screen and seen in her bag. This has been interpreted to imply that there was a secret victim that wasn't known about before. Andrew is also sometimes interpreted to be Pig Patch, who is beaten with a shovel and put into the back of Toy Chica's car. His brutal death may explain why he is vengeful. Alternatively, the Foxy hook could be Charlie, as she is a victim that was taken in an event prior to the current grouping. This would imply that a sixth victim was killed in the MCA, along with the 5 other children. After completing 4920 mode, the player is greeted with a cutscene of Golden Freddy twitching in the void, fading away. This could be the spirit inside of Golden Freddy leaving UCN, while someone stays behind to torment Afton, all lining up with the line, "Leave the demon to his demons." The vengeful spirit controlling Ultimate Custom Night is referred to with he/him pronouns. Andrew implies that he did not intend to torment Afton forever. It seems to contradict lines in Ultimate Custom Night that imply the vengeful spirit wants to torment William Afton forever. For example, he claims he will never let him leave. There are multiple implications throughout UCN that the vengeful spirit orchestrating everything is Golden Freddy, who is generally agreed to be his own spirit separate from Andrew. There is an interpretation that suggests that Golden Freddy is trying to stop Andrew from torturing Afton, but leaves after being encouraged by Old Man Consequences. The line, "Leave the demon to his demons, rest your own soul, there is nothing else," has been alternatively interpreted to mean the demon is William and his demons are Ultimate Custom Night's roster characters. This would also work, as the Old Man Consequences minigame can be seen as an alternative ending to the 4920 cutscene. And the one you should not have killed does not match Andrew's described appearance. Andrew is described as wearing an alligator mask, having black and curly hair, while Toyshink does not have a mask, has straight and similarly blonde hair. However, Scott explained that he uses family photos out of convenience, which included using his own son's face for the one you should not have killed. Andrew games the theory that Andrew exists in the game's continuity. Characters that have been adapted from the book do not always have the same role in the games. Thus, Andrew's original role in the book is not necessarily conflicting if another character already takes it. For example, Charlotte Emily takes the role of the main protagonist in the novel trilogy. In the games, Michael Afton takes that role, in my opinion, and in this wiki's opinion. Jeremy and Cassidy are Bonnie and Golden Freddy in the games respectively, while the novels, Cassidy is Bonnie and Michael Brooks is Golden Freddy. In theory, Andrew could take the role of the one you should not have killed in Fazbear Frights, and in the game, Cassidy could be the vengeful spirit instead. A child with a green mask who is possibly Andrew appears in The Happiest Day and 5 Laps of Freddy's Night Shift section of the game. The Happiest Day color kids in the audience can appear as shadow figures instead of the usual form, just like Andrew does. Ultimate Custom Night suggests that there is a secret child of the missing children incident in Toy Chica the high school years. There is speculation that Andrew may be simply a parallel to Cassidy and not canon for the timeline of the games. Both seem to be stuffed inside of Golden Freddy / Fredbear and want to get revenge on William Afton, as seen in The Man in Room 1280 in Ultimate Custom Night. Under Cassidy Andrew, Cassidy is a parallel to Andrew because she has a last name that resembles Andrew's first name, which in fact I did not know. In Return to the Pit and the novel trilogy, Cassidy is shown to have curly black hair, a trait that is commonly associated with Andrew. In the same book, any and all references to the 6th MCI victim are completely removed. Andrew's absence in Return to the Pit could be explained by Andrew simply not being part of the MCI and simply dying before or after. The THSY MCI and Return to the Pit evidence would be mutually exclusive, as the THS MCI would put Andrew's death at the very first, before even Charlie, whilst Return to the Pit would place his death before Susie, but after Charlie. Now, for some reason, this thing is redacted, so give me a moment here. When it comes to the THS MCI and the Foxy hook, it also represents the bite victim. Toy Chica is never shown luring Foxy like the others, so the cause of death will be different. Assuming TCTHSY MCI, the kids wouldn't be represented by the specific animatronic they possess, rather more loose connections, like Jeremy being represented by Toy Bonnie, a variation of Bonnie, or under Cassidy Toy Shrink, it would have Cassie as Pig Patch because he is one of the mediocre melodies whom they speak through in the game. Andrew isn't shown to have any connection to Foxy in specific, whilst Bite Victim died because he was put in Fredbear's mouth by Foxy Bro. This would mean that the hook would be hint towards Bite Victim first instead of another MCI victim. And for our last Andrew of this iceberg, Andrew experiments the theory that Andrew from the Fazbear Fright series was a test subject in the FNAF 4 experiments shown in sister location. Under Stitchline Games, UCN is implied to be a repetitive nightmare caused by Andrew. The format of UCN, also known as Ultimate Custom Night if you didn't get that already, could be a callback to the test chamber experiments, where test subjects are implied to be sent through simulated nightmares over and over again according to the story Dittophobia. In the Stinkers, Andrew says, "I remember I wanted him to suffer the way he made me suffer," which could be referring on how Andrew created UCN in an attempt to make William Afton go through the exact same thing he went in the test chambers. In UCN, the FNAF 4 themed office is the only office to not have mixed elements from the other games, once again making a direct connection to the test chambers. In the Stitch Race Stingers, Andrew says he does not remember what Afton did to him, making this theory kind of improbable. UCN is not only limited to the test chambers, but also for multiple points and actions of Afton's life. And it does not explain how Andrew has absolutely zero recollection of the experiments. Anti-dream theory's theory. The dream theory, which proposes that FNAF 1 to 4 is a dream of the Bite Victim, was never the intention of the original story. Under Michael FNAF 1, Mike Fritz, and Mike Guard, it's possible the 4 games one story message could be interpreted as the story of Mike Schmidt, who will later be expanded on in sister location as Michael Afton. It is also highly theorized that Mike is the FNAF 4 dreamer, which, if true, would add more credibility to the message. It is unclear how the Bite Victim would know the exact minimum wage in 1987, or he knows how businesses work in great detail and is able to create well-spoken English phone calls. In the FNAF movie, Mike Schmidt has a book called Dream Theory. In the movie, Jeremiah says regarding the book, "Is this for real?" This could be interpreted as a meta joke regarding the actual Dream Theory. Adding on to that, they ruined his character in the second movie novel as of recording this. In the FNAF World teaser, Scott used to respond to MatPat's livestream. He asked why the tiny toy Chica was missing her beak. This could be connected to Bite Victim's dream, as in FNAF 2, the toy Chica animatronic is known for losing her beak after leaving the stage. Everyone knows that, obviously. At the end of every night in FNAF 1 through 3, a clock chime is heard, which could be Bite Victim waking up after each dream. This is backed up by the grandfather clock appearing outside Bite Victim's room. It was also theorized that the reason it was changed from an alarm clock after each nightmare in FNAF 4 was because Bite Victim is in the hospital. Auction theory is the theory that Michael Afton bought all the salvage items at the Finance of Freddy's 3 auction, which leads him to experience the night segments of Finance of Freddy's 4. Some advertisements for FNAF 4 imply the player brought something home. Under this theory, this could refer to Mike bringing haunted items back home from the auction. Some of the Nightmare animatronics are represented by toys. The Freddy plushie is right behind the Freddles in Nightmare Freddy. Nightmare Foxy turns into a Foxy plushie, and Plush Chef seems to be based on the finger traps seen in the minigames. These real items could have been bought at the auction. The Fredbear items seen in the teaser could also have been bought. The Nightmare Yawn teasers for FNAF 4, Nightmare Yawn can be seen behind the Freddy plushie, and the Freddy plushie has strings attached to it. This may imply that Nightmare is pulling the strings and causing Mike's nightmares and is tied to the plushie. Mike's room in sister location in Security Breach does not have any items that would be from the Fazbear Frights auction. It is possible Mike's room in Security Breach is inaccurate of the real room, but it's unclear whether it's a recreation or not. It is more likely the FNAF nightmares happen closer to FNAF 1. The night 1 phone call can be heard in the background reversed, and the animatronics act similarly to their FNAF 1 counterparts. None of the plushies or other items mentioned appear in FNAF 3. Arcade theory, or arcade MCI's theory, that the missing children incident victims possess the arcade machines in FNAF 3. In the Follow Me minigame, when the player goes out into the safe room to chase William Afton, There are what looks to be 3 arcade machines. The arcade games shown in Can 7 could be the same as those seen in the minigame. After Afton's death, the souls of the children would have moved on to the machines to stay with the soul until he died completely. Under Mike Guard or Henry Guard, Michael Afton or Henry would be playing the arcade games to try and free the souls. It is likely the happiest day is set after Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator after the fire of FNAF 3, so the souls would have been free after that. If the arcade machines are in the safe room with Springtrap, then they could not have been present on night 1 as they would not have been found yet. Agony victim is theory that Fredbear is possessed by the bite victim's agony after the bite. Alternatively, it's possible that bite victim's soul is possessing Fredbear through the agony poured into it. In the fourth closet, Charlie Emily is speculated to be brought to life through Henry Emily's agony, particularly via the doll Ella. In Stitch Race Stingers 3, the scientist Phineas Taggart claims that agony plus intelligence, even artificial, can animate inanimate objects like the Stitch Wraith. This could justify how bite victim's agony at death while crying can imbue Fredbear with life or a form of supernatural presence. Various Charlie bots contain different emotional imprints, one with Henry's grief, one with his rage, etc. The final Charlie is not Charlie's soul, but a product of Henry's regret and pain, described as a ghost of a man's regret. This could align with how Bite Victim died. In the week before, it's implied that Bite Victim is present within Fredbear in some way, with the audio of the big bite and Ralph being chomped afterwards. As the survival logbook implies Bite Victim's memories are in going Freddy for Cassidy to reach them, this scenario can be a memory caused by his agony. In the fourth closet, the doll gets a life of its own, not Henry's life. This would mean that even under the logic, Fredbear has a life of its own separate from Bite Victim's. Most supporting ideas rely on subjective readings and require assuming possible metaphors are literal. True that, brother. Alleyway Aftons is a theory that the poster that appears in the back alleyway of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place represents the Afton family. Each character on the poster has been interpreted to represent each of the Afton family members. William would be the ventriloquist. He is controlling his dummy, which looks exactly like him. Assuming Michael is a dummy, this would show how William controls Michael to do what he wants. Michael would be the dummy. This dummy is identical to its ventriloquist, just like how Michael and William are implied to look very similar. The dummy is also being controlled by the ventriloquist, which could represent how William controls Michael, telling him to go to Circus Baby's entertainment and rental. Under Mike Accomplice, this could also be referring to Michael's actions being controlled/influenced by William. Elizabeth would be the clown. She possesses the clown animatronic Circus Baby and later Scrap Baby. The bite victim would be the bear. He was bitten by Fredbear during the big bite. He has implied connections to Golden Freddy, most evidently in the week before. Under this theory, if Mrs. Afton is counted, then all Aftons don't appear on the poster. Mrs. Afton also doesn't appear in the games, so it would make sense why she wouldn't appear on the poster. Alternatively, under Ballora Afton, the bear could be Molten Freddy and potentially representing Mrs. Afton, but this is only speculation. Another David or another Murray family is a theory that Gregory was selected by M2 or Glitchtrap to replace David Murray. Gregory and David has similar characteristics. Gregory is 3 feet in the games and David is over 3 feet tall. They both have brown hair, they both like to draw, color in pages, and have outgoing personalities. They both enjoy ice cream. The image of Emily and David on a hill that can be found in Edwin's home is a direct parallel to the Burn Trap Endings image of Gregory and Glamrock Freddy on a hill, with Gregory standing in for David. In Secret of the Mimic, the Moon.exe minigames are commonly theorized to be played as M2. The narrator says that it would bring the baby owl, David, back, no matter the cost. The narrator is implied to be F10 and 4, otherwise known as Fiona. This could simply be her saying she will bring David back through M2. Gregory's and David's characteristics don't line up in multiple aspects. David is 5 when he dies, while Gregory would be up to 12 years old when taken in by M2, or even 13 years old. David has freckles and Gregory does not. In the games, M2 was made after David's death and did not have a bond with David, rather than being a broken version of him. This heavily wounds the theory. Also, this theory is completely very long for me to cover in one video, so go check out the original creator on Twitter and in the wiki. Arnold Driver, also known as Arnold Killed David, is a theory that claims Arnold killed David Sean Murray by hitting him with his van. At the start of the game, Arnold claims that he had just gotten off a 36-hour-long shift, meaning he's having trouble keeping his eyes open. He also states that he has considered telling his manager that he cannot work like this anymore. Playing this type of shift is normal for him. In the Tales from the Pizzaplex story, The Mimic, David was killed by a white van, and in Secret of the Mimic, Arnold drives around in a van, suggesting the possibility he might be the one responsible. Around the time of the release of Secret of the Mimic, multiple FNAF tubers got a gift package from Steelable Studios, which included a mini white Fazbear Entertainment van and Arnold's van from the game as a sticker. It's possible the White Tiger is actually a hallucination caused by Arnold's guilt from getting David killed. The White Tiger being the character often associated with David, as he owned and often had with him a plush of the latter. Arnold seems unfamiliar with David, as he never once comments about him during the game, although this doesn't exactly prove he wasn't involved, as this incident could have deeply affected him, making him reluctant to face or acknowledge the truth. Arnold's van is blue, while the one that hit David in the original story was white, and in the graphic novel, this color. Dispatch gives Arnold instructions on how to get to Murray's costume manor, which suggests that Arnold has never been there before. This means that it's unlikely that Arnold could have killed David, as David was left at his playground at MCM before he died. David's death in the games is a lot more ambiguous than in the original short story, and there are theories that he died in ways other than being hit by a car. Even if David was hit by a car, the game points to it having happened at the loading bay, where he's more likely to have been hit by a truck than a passing van. And that'll do it for the FNAF Theory Iceberg Part A. Comment down below what your favorite theory was, and if there's any criticisms you would like to give, please tell me. Goodbye, and don't go insane.